Good evening. My name is Jalal, and I'm going to be teaching you Level 4, Unit 7 today. Now, in Unit 7, the title is How Can Accidental Discoveries Affect Our Lives? Okay, so basically, when things happen by mistake or by accident, that's why it's called accident, it's something that you were not intending to do. How did them discoveries affect our lives? Okay, how does it change you? Does it make you into a better person? Does it make you into a worse person? Does it make you rich? Would it make you poor? Would it make you fat? Would it make you skinny? Does it affect you mentally? Does it affect you physically? These things happen, okay? And do you learn from it, okay? Sometimes what happens is you go out on a journey to do something, okay? You're out to make something that you're doing in your life, and accidentally you discover something. Now, you probably heard of the term you learn by making mistakes. That's one thing, but not to mention you also learn things by accident. There are a lot of things that like that happen. Okay, that's why we learn every new things every day. Every day we learn something new, even one thing, or maybe five things, or maybe even 10 things. Okay. Now, it says here on question number one, the journalist Franklin Adams once wrote, "I find that a great part of the information I have was acquired by looking up something and finding something else on the way." What do you think he meant? Now, what he meant by this was he went out on a journey to find something, okay? Let's say, for example, he went on a journey to find out how much he wants to buy a car, for example, okay? Um, he wants to buy a car, but of course, you don't know anything about buying the car before you buy it, okay? You can't afford the car, you want to get it on finance, maybe, okay? So, what you do is you're in the process of saving money, and then you find out, oh wait, I can get a car on finance. So the bank will give you money, and then of course you pay every month back. What happens if you miss payment? These sort of things. So this is what he meant. Okay, so when you're finding something, when your destination is from A to B, but you learn things on the way. You learn little things on the way before you get to B as well. Okay, and that's how you learn something new, and that's how you acquire find something else on the way as well. All right. Now, question number two: have you ever discovered something important by accident? If so, what is it, and how did the discovery affect you? Okay. Now, my example will be a lot different than yours. Okay. Remember, these examples can be anything. Remember, you don't have to tell the truth. You can lie about it, but there's so many things that people have done by accident. Okay. Now, for example, let's say you go into university, but I don't know how to get into university, like admission. How do I get admission into a university? What I would do basically, the simplest thing is find out what I need to do in college. How much points do I need to get into university? And these are the things that you learn on the way. Okay. And how does that discovery affect you? The discovery affects you in a good way because you learn about things like what you need, what is university, how can it affect you, how will it make you better, and you learn something. Now, there's nothing harmful about learning something new. Okay. Now, question number three: look at the photos. How might each discovery be useful? Now, by looks of it, I think it's a skeleton. Okay, I'm assuming it's a dinosaur. Okay, when you look at this picture, each discovery, how can it be useful? This will tell you that years and years ago, there were animals, well, dinosaurs that existed in the world, and they were there before. So archaeologists, the people that go and discover new things in the world, they go and find it and show the world in museums. Okay. Now, if you look on page 133 on Unit 7, this is a little glass bottle with a little envelope in it. Now, years and years ago, they used to do that. They used to have a bottle. They used to put a note in it, for example, or maybe a secret treasure map, something like that, something a bit crazy. And then they put a cork on it and throw it into the ocean, and people go and find it. Okay. Now, if you look at this one, of course, this is I'm assuming that's a peacekeeper. I'm not sure. Peacekeepers usually what's in the heart to keep the heart beating. I'm assuming. I'm not sure. I'm not very clever with the medical stuff. But what happens is, they took an X-ray of the body. They see the lungs. They see the skeleton, and then they can see anything inside excess that's in the body as well. Okay. Now, that is how can accidental discoveries affect our lives? Usually, the accidental discoveries can affect our lives in the best way. We try to see it in the best way, okay? It's what we call a learning curve. Now, we're going to be on page 134, okay? Now, listening one says the power of serendipity. Serendipity. Now, we're going to be talking about this. First thing I want you to do, guys, is scientists work hard to keep control on their work and make sure mistakes do not happen. How often do you think accidents play a role in scientific discoveries? The truth is, I think that's a very good thing to discuss about. Now, scientists, yeah, they try to not fail, but a lot of scientists do fail. And when they fail, it's okay because that's their job to learn from it, okay? How do they go past it, okay? And maybe they were trying to find the cure for maybe a tumor, for example, how to get rid of a tumor, and then eventually they find out how to get rid of cancer. These things that happen by accident. I'm not saying there's a cure for cancer, but I'm just saying that this is how it all happens. Usually, it's all accidental most of the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, on this box, it says adhesive, inconceivable, synthetic, exploit, interact, unreliable, flammable, mandatory, vastly, in inadvertent, and obvious. Now, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to get a dictionary or use Google and find out the meanings between all these words, okay? Just type in the words and find out the meanings. This vocabulary is going to help you in the future exercise in the next couple of pages, okay? Now, once you finish that, what I want you to do on page 134 to 135 at the top there, you're going to listen to the audio, okay? And it's quite simple. Listen to the audio and write down the questions that they're asking, okay? And write down notes on main ideas and important details. Once you finish that, again, I want you to go into exercise C on page 135. On question C, this is quite simple. You're going to be matching number 1 to number 6 to A to F, okay? So these are the accidents or events, and then you got scientific breakthrough. What I want you to do is listen to the audio and just see which note matches which one, which scientific breakthrough, okay? Once you finish that, what I want you to do then is on page 135, we're going to be doing question D, okay? On question D, it's quite simple. Now, you have true, which is right, F for false, which is wrong, okay? Now, I want you to write in here, true or false, learning from what we already learned through accidents or events, okay? So all you have to do is write in true or false and put in your answers, all right? Now, once you finish that, I want you to turn over the page and I want you to go on to page 136. Now, on page 136, you've got, it says here, tick the items you think you were discovered or invented by accident. Compare your choice with a partner. You don't have to compare your choice, but just tell me what you think, okay? I want you to just make a tick for each box that you think that is, made by accident, okay? Now, something like chocolate chip cookies, do you think they were made by accident or no? If you think it's accident, put a tick next to it. Rechargeable batteries, write a tick next to it if you think it's made by accident. T, the pacemaker, sorry, this is what's in the heart that keeps the heart going. Velcro and GPS, okay? So just take what you think is accidental, okay? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you think they're all accidental, tick it. If you don't think they're accidental, that's okay. Now, once you finish that, we're going to be on page 137. Now, on page 137, you have these words from vocabulary, something like flammable, unreliable. What I want you to do is read the words that are in bold, such as here, okay? All the way on page number on the same page from 137, on page 137 and 138, okay? Just at the top there, there's 11 questions. What I want you to do with these questions are very simple. Use the bold words and match what you think next to it, okay? So flammable, easily break or easily burns, okay? I'll help you with the first one. Now flammable is related to flames, okay, with fire. Please keep flammable objects away from the stove. Stove is where you cook food. It isn't safe while you're cooking. Of course, flammable is linked to the word flames or fire. So it's easily burns, okay? So number 1 is B. I want you to do the same for question number 1, 2, all the way to question number 11, okay? So that's it really. Now, once you finish that, on page 138, once you finish that, what we're going to be doing is, just bear with me, there we are. You're going to go into the yellow box here, okay? Now, the yellow box on page 138 is talking about listening skill, listening for signal, words, and phrases. Now, when you listen to a speaker and hear a word you don't recognize, continue listening for definition. Now, what happens is, when somebody explains a word, when someone talks about a new word, what they tend to do is they explain next what is the actual word meaning, the definition, okay? So sometimes speakers will give the meaning of a word they just used. Good speakers use word signals and phrases to clarify them clarify what they mean. Here are some examples. Now, usually a speaker would say, let's say we're talking about scientist. Let's say the word that you talk about is scientist, and you don't know what the word of scientist means. What the good speaker would say, they'll use word signals or phrases like scientist. This is referred to blah blah blah. Okay, this is referred to a person that makes scientific discoveries. This means a or an something is. So a or an, for example, for the word scientist would be a scientist is. What I mean by scientist is, what is scientist? It's blah blah blah. Scientist or basically any other word that you can think of that links with scientist. Okay, good or better is blah blah blah, for example. Okay, and it's quite simple, that one. Okay, so what happens is when somebody explains something, don't usually get worried like, oh my god, I don't know what the word means. It's not that. It's basically you need to just hang around and just listen a little bit longer to find out the meaning. Okay, and that's it. Now you're going to be on page 139. Sometimes speakers say same ideas in a different way to make the meaning clear. Here are some ways that the speaker signal they are about to provide an explanation. Now, when they explain something, they will talk about it. What they will say is, what I mean is, in other words, here's what this means in simpler terms, and this means. Okay? Listening for signals like these will help you understand important words and concepts that speakers introduce. Now, once you finish that, what I want you to do is play the audio on question A on 139. Now, on this question, it's going to go from 139 all the way to 140, okay, on the next page as well, okay, just at the top there. Now, on the audio, what you're going to be doing is listen to it. Listen to the audio. You're going to put in the word of the signal words or phrases you hear, okay? Now, the signal words or phrases can be this, or it could be these, okay? And that's it. And you're going to finish number 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the next page of 140 is question number 5, okay? That's it. Now, you're going to be on page 140. Read the sentence, complete each sentence with a signal word or phrase from the listening skill box, okay? That was on page number 138 and 139, okay? Just on the previous pages. Now, you're going to put in the words there. You don't need an audio to listen to. You're going to practice with the words now. Put in the words that you think that is best, okay? Now, once you've finished that, on page 140, on the bottom of the page, it says here note-taking skill. Taking notes on demand, taking notes on details. When you take notes on a report or story, write down details that happened that are important to take to the account, okay? Try to list specific names and dates along the major events and their effects. Do not try to write complete sentences. Instead, just write down keywords or phrases to help you remember the detail. When you review your notes, the list of details will provide you the kind of timeline and help you recall the major events, people, and facts, okay? Now, in a nutshell, to understand this, it's quite simple. So when you're hearing about something that you don't know what it's talking about, what I want you to do is just write down the keywords, write down the time, the date, and maybe something important about it, and that helps you keep an idea of what you need to do, okay? And that's basically the best way to remember, really. Okay. Now, on question A on page 140, and it's going to be on 141 as well. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is read all this for me. Okay. Read all this, or you can listen to the audio if you want. Now, once you finish that, on question B, what you're going to be doing is in the paragraph on page 140 to 141, the pages there, it'll talk about 4 events. Okay. Event 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. I want you to write down what the event was and write down anything important about it. Okay. Important details. Okay. And that's it really. And it's quite simple. Once you finish that, you're going to be heading over to page 142. Now on page 142, just to let you know, there is 3 more events. So event 5, 6, and 7. Okay. You can do the same thing for this as well. All right. Now, once you finish that, you're going to be on page 142, listening to the twin girls reunited. Now, you're going to listen to a report about how twin girls were reunited unexpectedly. As you listen to the report, gather information and ideas about how accidental discoveries can affect our lives. So, the preview says, if the siblings were separated as babies and then met many years later, do you think they will feel an emotional connection? Now, remember, twins are brothers and sisters, that are born at the same day, okay, or maybe same time, usually 5 to 10 or 15, 20 minutes apart, okay? Now, if they didn't, let's say the babies were separated over time and they joined together and came back, would you think they have an emotional connection? Yes or no? My answer would possibly be yes, because they have similar characteristics, okay? Now, on page 142, you've got words here, okay? You got H, in all probability, adopt, deprived, odds, alert, face-to-face, and reunion. Use Google, use a dictionary, find out the meanings for these words, okay? Once you finish that, what you're going to do is head over to on page, you're going to be on page 143. Now, 143 is a bit complex, okay? Now, what we're going to be doing is listen to the important details you hear in the report. Do not try to write complete sentences. Instead, write down only the important words. Now, listen to the audio, and I want you to fill in everything that happens in the event, okay? One, for example, Amy went online to find help and got answers from Emma, okay? So, write down what comes next, number 4, number 5, and number 6, okay? And then number 7 was Ruby's parents understood why she wanted to be alone, okay? And just write down the events of what happened, okay? Now, listen to the audios again, and then answer the questions. Now, the question on page 143, on question C, is going to go from question C, which is 143, all the way to 144. On this question, when you listen to the audio, you're going to answer each question, okay? This will improve your listening as well for the listening test in much more detail. But instead, you're going to write the answer out, okay? That's it. Now, once you finish that, what I want you to do next is on question D, read the question, circle the correct answers. Where were Ruby and Kate born? Write down where do you think they were born? Was it Florida or were they born in China? I want you to finish all the questions, and the questions all go up to question 8 on page 144. Once you finish these questions, you're going to be on page 145. On page 145, you got them words that you found out on the dictionary and Google, all right? Once you find the meaning out, you can fill in the words where they go next, okay? So for example, the first one, Lena and Waleed have one son. Next year, they want to something, another baby boy. You want to, maybe the best word to write in here would be adopt another baby boy. Then they will have 2 sons, okay? That's question number 1. I'm going to finish all of question number 1 all the way to the next page of 146, which goes up to question number 9, okay? Just on the top there on page 146, on page 149, all right? Once you finish that, I want you to go on to page 147. We're going to talk about vocabulary skill, collocation, and preposition. Now, collocations are a combination of words that are used together frequently. For example, some adjectives and verbs are commonly used with particular preposition. Now, part of learning to use these adjectives and verbs correctly involve knowing which preposition are often used with them. Here are a few adjectives and preposition collocations. Embarrassed about, fond of, happy about, proud of, ready for, upset about. Now that's with adjectives and preposition collocation. Now the next thing is, here are a few verb and preposition collocation. Okay, so these are the adjective ones, these are the verb ones. Complain about, arrive at, believe in, trip over, decide on, and approve on. Some collocations are separable. A direct object can come between the verb and preposition. For example, bring the twins together, bring the twins together, okay? The object is the twins in this case. Combine the rubber with sulfur. Sulfur, I think it is, yeah? Sulfur. So, for example, the preposition collocation would be combined with, for example. Object is the rubber, okay? That's it. Now, I want you to listen to the audio on page 147. And this is one of the last tasks that you got to do. Page 147, listen to the audio. I'll help you with question number 1. It says here, she was looking around and she was very aware something was going on. For this one, question number 1, I would possibly say that the answer is off, okay? She was very aware of what was going on. I want you to do question number 1, 2, 3. I want you to do question number 4 on page 148. And the last thing you're going to be doing is on page 148, okay? So once you finish question number 4 as well, you're going to be doing this, okay? Now read the box, read the sentences, complete each sentence with the collocation from the box. Afraid of, filled something with, stumbling over, mixed with. Okay. Now that's it, and you're going to finish that last question, and you're finished. You finish unit 7 on level 4 listening. Okay. Thank you. And any issues or anything like that, open the discussion with your tutor and ask all the information.